insight on how we are going to do our zone control rule this year. We didn't want to go as far as calling this a strafe rule because I don't think strafing gives you the flexibility or mobility at the position to actually hold you hostage to that. So we wanted to give some flexibility with this rule, and we wanted to make it more real so that players in our league can experience a closer to real life movement on the field in terms of how they're using the guy and the results that we get. This isn't to limit anyone, so if you feel like that's why we're doing this, it's really not. We're really trying to make this league as authentic as possible, which also goes into why we've also added custom playbooks. As a coach, you should have that right to create your own playbook and to game plan for your opponent as you see fit, respectfully. So, and I know I'm getting off topic here, but we don't expect you guys to come out in a 4-3 one week and then next week you dump the 4-3 and all of a sudden your playbook is loaded with a 3-4. Mike has a few ideas of how he wants to go over that, and I'm gonna have to talk with him before we actually come out and officially ordain how we're going to bring in the custom playbooks. But for right now, we want to focus on play on the field in regard to your movement on the defense. I have my guys right here set up in a cover two. I think this is a cover two sync, if I'm not mistaken. Now you see I'm controlling the safety slash middle linebacker position here, the guy that's circled. His option or his assignment, I want to say that again, his assignment, which means he's actually assigned a position to play while we're doing this rule this year. His assignment is a mid-read zone. Now, for you who don't know what that means in Madden, that means that anything under 5 yards, he is responsible to cover. So if you come in his zone and you're under 5 yards, he's going to pretty much stay here and monitor you to make sure you don't do anything. Now, if you come into his zone, let's just assume A into his zone. So this guy here that I'm in front of is going to come over here into my zone. If I'm doing a mid-read, I'm reading my mid-level beneath me, but if he comes into my zone, I have the right to follow that guy, or if I opt to just stay in my zone, I can. Now, what I tried to do was find a popular play on offense that we've all seen in many playbooks before. It's a trail play. In the trail play, which is designed this way here, you'll have one wide receiver or tight end come into your zone. And the idea behind this offensive concept is for the first receiver in the zone to trap or to trick the guy in that zone who has that assignment to either play him or to sit. So if I don't play the guy that comes into my zone at first, he should get open. And if I do play him, I'm leaving a vacancy for the second wide receiver, which is why it's also red, because he's the main target on this play. Not A, but the red guy, which in this case would be RB. And in case you don't know who RB is, that is Richardson over there, Richardson Jr. to the right of the screen. Now, the options you have are threefold. You have the option to play your zone fully. You have the option to follow the first wide receiver. You have the option to sit in your zone if you think you're being baited out of your zone and then play the second guy, which sort of blends with option number 2. So I'm going to press the play button here. If I can, let me try to widen my screen first just to get the different options. I think I may have messed around with that. And I want the whole thing to be seen. We can do it this way, but I think it'll work better if I can get the, do I have that visual feedback dynamic? All right, well, I don't have it on, so we're cool. All right, so here we go. I gotta watch. Somebody's watching this? Who's watching this? I'm not doing anything. What are you watching? Anyway, so we have it here, cover 2 zone, and then we have the play that we're going to do here. That's our play. So I'm going to press hike. Unfortunately, I don't have anyone down here with me to run this play, but you'll have to watch the quarterback get sacked. So the ball is snapped. I'm backing up. I'm in my zone. I'm playing the mid read tight. I did not leave my zone. As you saw, Richardson came into my zone. That's option number 1. You can stay in your zone, play the mid read only. Option number 2, if you decide to carry either receiver out of your zone, so if I want to follow Richardson here, who's going to make his run through my zone, if Richardson is going to cross over and I want to carry him out, that's fine. You can carry Richardson out, but you cannot return to your zone afterwards. Once you choose the guy you're going to chase, you chase him and you stick with him. If you go back into your zone, we would consider that a violation, because in real life, once a guy is chasing someone full throttle, he cannot just reverse things because he can see behind his head. And that's what we're trying to get away from, the unrealistic movement on defense. So here's my example. Number one, I'm going to chase the first wide receiver and how it will look. Even though I'm mid-zone read, I see him coming. I'm betting on the fact that the quarterback's going to throw him the ball. I chase this guy. I stick with him. All right? And, of course, if I do that, the concept on the offense does work where the second wide receiver becomes open. Option number 3 is when I let the wide receiver go through my zone. I don't play my zone. What I do at that point is I play the second wide receiver. So I'm sitting on him tight under 5 yards. I see this guy coming in. I'm now following him. I'm sticking with him. And in this case, the quarterback got sacked, but he normally would have done a zigzag and broke off his route. But you get the drift here. Now, some other options you guys may try. I've heard this before when we tried to implement this softly in HML. If you want to take this guy here, the middle linebacker who has the, let's just go back to his original zones. We can all see it. He has a mid-read. If we want to take him and put him on the A guy and make him a man coverage, that's fine. You can do that. No one's mad at you for doing it. But once you put him in man coverage, I don't want you to then play with him. I want to see him in man coverage so that there's no discrepancies in reference to what's going on if it has to go in a review, which means you have to shift to either this guy over here who's playing the vertical hook or the other guy over here, somebody else, anybody else, safeties, whoever, but you are no longer playing that man guy. So when this play starts and he starts to man coverage him, and then you drop down here, we can see what's going on. We see everything happening. He's staying in man coverage. See, I left RB open just for kicks. I was going to try to throw it to him, but I got sacked. So that's how you want that to play. Now, in general, let's talk about the zone spacing. Your zone here with this guy literally can go here. This is all his zone. You see he's not involved in anyone else's zone. You see his partner here is going to blitz in. And as he blitzes in, it's going to leave all that vacant for him to actually try play that zone. Same thing for your guy here. His zone is a deep blue zone. If you know anything about football, that means he doesn't want anyone to get beyond him. So if he wants to break in on the ball, he can break in on the ball. If he wants to stay off deep and just make sure no one passes him, that's his prerogative. If he wants to play outside and leave the one-on-one coverage with A into the center and that mid-read, he can do that. He probably has the most flexibility of all the guys. This guy here is playing a vertical hook. That's his assignment, which means he's going to try to carry anything vertical, or if a hook comes short, he wants to be there for it. So he's our delay guy, which is why cover, 4 verticals oftentimes works, because he's trying to decide if he's going to play the inside guy or if he's going to bounce side and play this guy. And in that decision-making process, the AI has somehow glitched it so that this RB guy normally gets free in most cover 3s and in cover 2s. But anyway, another story altogether, right? This is how we're going to play this. He'll have this zone to play. You see, he's not bothering anybody. He's in his zone in his little crease here. Now, if you manually play with him, that little glitch I talked about with the cover 3 or the cover 2 in terms of checking the verticals, you can just go vertical. You don't have to wait and see what's happening with this inside guy. Just play vertical and keep dropping back and then cut up when you think the play is going to be made. Anyway, we want guys to stay in their zone this year. We'll talk about the playbook stuff more probably this week as we get closer and closer to Madden 21 coming out. Hope this helps out. Now no one can say, I don't know what you're talking about, Hog. I thought we could do whatever. No, we want you to stay in your zone to make our league more efficient and closer to being sim. I'm off now, and for whoever the one person is listening, I hope you learned something. God bless you, sir. Hog's out.